a giant space rock, a city on the brink of total destruction, and one superhero family standing between survival and disaster. In the city of Metroburg, a massive meteor suddenly breaks through the atmosphere and comes hurtling straight toward the ground below. Civilians scatter in every direction as police rush to broadcast urgent warnings. The rock is closing in fast, and if nothing stops it, the entire city faces complete annihilation. But Metroburg is no ordinary city. It is home to one of the most powerful superhero families on the planet. They are the Thundermans, also known as the T-Force. The team is led by twin siblings, Max and Phoebe, joined by their parents, Thunderman and Electress, and their younger brothers and sisters, Laser Girl, Kid Quick, and the adorable little Thunder Baby. As the threat closes in, every member of the family locks into position and strikes their signature heroic pose. Phoebe quickly scans the sky and spots that the meteor has already split into several smaller chunks, and she tells Max they need to take all of them out immediately. But Max is barely listening. He is too wrapped up in taking selfies in his brand new hero suit. Meanwhile, the first fragment is seconds away from impact. At the very last moment, Max finally snaps into focus. He channels his telekinetic powers, locks the rock in mid-air, and blasts it apart. Then Phoebe steps in, unleashing her freezing ability and shattering the next piece into tiny fragments. Laser Girl follows by firing a sharp, powerful beam from her eyes and obliterating another chunk entirely. Thunder Baby wants to jump in and do her part too, but since she is the youngest, Electress firmly tells her to stay back. Electress then releases a crackling electric blast from her hands and destroys the second-to-last piece. Now just one final fragment remains, the biggest and most dangerous one of all. Thunderman takes command. He orders Kid Quick to use his incredible speed to clear every person off the streets so no one gets caught in the blast. Once the area is emptied, Thunderman pulls every ounce of power into his fist and unleashes one colossal punch, and the last piece of the meteor explodes into nothing. Just like that, Metroburg is safe once again. After the mission wraps up, the Thunderman family heads home, but Max hangs back. He is still working through his selfie collection to post online. Because he is not paying attention, he completely misses a small stray piece of the meteor flying directly at him. It strikes him, but somehow, just a few minutes later, he is back on his feet as though nothing happened at all. Shortly after, the whole family returns to the Heroes League headquarters. They hang up their costumes and slip back into their roles as a regular American family. Hank and Barb suggest spending a relaxed evening together. But first, Phoebe wants to run through a full mission review, going over everything that happened to make sure the family is using their abilities carefully and responsibly. Nobody else is interested, though. Everyone finds the idea dull, so they all drift off to enjoy some downtime instead. The calm does not last. Their robo-drone suddenly flashes an alert. A crime is underway in Metroburg. Phoebe fires up the secret lab and pulls up the city's surveillance cameras. On screen, she sees a villain named Blue Flame breaking into a bank vault. Without a moment's hesitation, Phoebe is ready to move. But her parents are worn out and want nothing more than a rest. They ask the drone whether any other heroes are free to handle it. The robot informs them that a brand new group has just arrived in the city, the V-Team, a trio of rock band members moonlighting as heroes. Phoebe wants nothing to do with them. She doesn't trust them and is convinced they are frauds, so she persuades the family to head to the bank themselves. In a flash, Thunder Baby teleports everyone straight to the scene. The moment they arrive, the team fans out. Max straps on his jetpack and takes to the air to back Phoebe up from above. Phoebe moves in to face the villain directly. The V-Team arrives at the same time and offers to assist, but Phoebe shuts them down immediately. She still doesn't believe they are genuine heroes, and she is not about to work alongside people she doesn't trust. She goes straight at Blue Flame with her ice breath. The villain hits back hard, launching powerful fireballs in her direction. The two clash in a back-and-forth exchange of power. Phoebe then calls on Nora to fire her laser at the villain. Nora fires, but something goes badly wrong. The beam strikes Blue Flame's suit and bounces back at an angle, hitting Max directly. The impact makes Max lose all control of his jetpack. He spirals and crashes headfirst into a giant donut sign, which drops straight down on top of one of the V-Team members. Total chaos breaks out. Cutting through the mess, the V-Team's leader finally steps in. He raises his special goggles and fires a strong plasma beam that connects squarely with Blue Flame. The villain goes down instantly. The crowd goes silent. The rookie V-Team has taken out the villain effortlessly, while the Thundermans have stumbled and failed for the very first time. Back home, the whole family sits in an uncomfortable cloud of shame. But it gets worse very quickly. The city's mayor shows up at their door. She tells them plainly that because they failed during the mission, their services are no longer required. They are officially relieved of their duties, effective immediately. The V-Team will be taking over from this point forward. Left with no choice, the Thundermans pack up and return to their old house in the quiet little town of Hiddenville. Max and Phoebe are deeply unhappy about the move. But as the days go by, the rest of the family gradually adjusts to ordinary life. Max, however, refuses to just let things go. He heads down to the secret lab, where he finds his rabbit companion, Dr. Colosso. The rabbit advises Max and Phoebe to use this time wisely, to help people in small, quiet ways that might eventually earn them their hero status back. The next morning, Billy and Nora head off to their first day at a new school. The moment their strict principal, Bradford, hears their last name, his expression hardens. He has very clear memories of the trouble Max caused during his time there, and he wastes no time warning the two siblings to stay in line or face serious consequences. The moment he walks away, Nora tells Billy they need to keep their powers completely hidden and blend in like normal students. That plan collapses almost immediately. A group of girls approaches and asks if they are actually superheroes, and Nora simply cannot help herself. She fires up her laser right then and there, purely to impress them. At the same time, Phoebe walks into a local diner and runs into her best friend, Cherry. She tells Cherry she needs work. Cherry points her to an open waitressing position, and even though Phoebe has reservations about the diner's owner, Mrs. Wong, she takes the job anyway. Cherry then shows her around to try on the uniform. Meanwhile, Max walks into the diner and reunites with his bandmates, Oyster, Link, and Gideon, who welcome him back as their lead singer, taking back the spot from the elderly Grandpa Giddy. Max also announces that he has launched a side business, offering his powers as a service to people around town. He even lands his very first call almost right away. But the mood shifts when Grandpa Giddy storms in, still furious about being pushed out of the band. In a burst of frustration, he snatches Max's phone and drops it directly into his soda. Far across the city, deep inside Metroburg's prison, three dangerous villains sit locked away in their cells: King Crab, Dark Mayhem, and Strong Door, all put there after being defeated by the Thundermans. Then something completely unexpected happens. The V-Team walks through the door to visit them, and then comes the twist that changes everything. The V-Team peels off their hero disguises and reveals who they truly are, the children of those very villains. Every single thing that played out before, the bank robbery, the dramatic rescue, all of it was a carefully staged plan. A setup designed specifically to have the Thundermans stripped of their title and removed from Metroburg. But it runs even deeper than that. Dark Mayhem Jr. has ambitions that go far beyond simply freeing his father. He wants to assemble a full army of supervillains and use them to take complete control of the world. And to make that happen, he needs a mysterious artifact hidden somewhere inside the Heroes League headquarters. Back in Hiddenville, Phoebe comes home from her shift at the diner and finds Max. Both of them wear the same look, hollow and restless, clearly missing who they used to be. They decide something has to change. Phoebe proposes that they return to fighting crime on their own terms, only this time in disguise so no one can identify them. They bring the idea to the rest of the family, and are met with zero enthusiasm. Their family not only declines, but tells them outright that they have moved on, and no longer want to be heroes at all. Phoebe refuses to give up. Max feels the same way, so he goes back to Dr. Colosso for guidance. The rabbit reveals that he has been looking into the V-Team, and something about them has been nagging at him. After digging through what he found online, the truth finally surfaces. The V-Team members are the offspring of Metroburg's most feared villains. The moment Max has the information in hand, he moves to expose them. But it turns out Phoebe had already figured it out before he did. Dressed as Thunder Girl, she has already slipped out to confront them. Meanwhile, at school, things continue to spiral. Nora keeps putting her powers on display to hold on to her new friend's attention. Not wanting to be left out, Billy joins in and flashes his super speed. Almost instantly, he becomes the new center of attention, which sends Nora over the edge. She fires a laser directly at him. Billy manages to deflect it with a metal lunch tray at the last second, but the redirected beam scorches Principal Bradford's ponytail clean off. The principal runs screaming through the corridors in full panic. Across town, the V-Team is tearing through the Heroes League base, searching for the mysterious artifact. They go through every room and come up empty. At the same time, Phoebe slips in through a window, only to find Max already hiding inside. They both duck behind a sofa, but Dark Mayhem Jr. catches their movement with his robotic eye and sends his team after them without hesitation. While all of this unfolds, Hank and Barb are having a spectacularly disastrous day of their own. Their pilot friend Blobbin stops by and hands them a helicopter. Thrilled, they take off and start flying over the city, trying to secretly check in on Chloe at her new school. While airborne, they place an order for milkshakes, and Cherry fires them over using a giant slingshot. But the drinks arrive at full force, splashing across every control panel on the dashboard. The helicopter malfunctions on the spot and goes down, crashing right at Chloe's school. When Chloe spots her parents hovering above, supposedly watching over her, she is furious. Hank and Barb attempt a hasty explanation, fail completely, and make a quick retreat. Their day is not going well by any measure, but it is going considerably worse for Max and Phoebe. They have been captured. The two of them are bound to chairs inside the V-Team's custody. They demand to know why the group staged their hero act. Dark Mayhem Jr. decides to come clean. He explains that they have been searching for something called the power plant, an ancient artifact said to be hidden within the Heroes League base. According to legend, it carries the ability to grant superpowers to any living thing. With it, they intend to manufacture a massive army of supercharged villains and seize control of the entire world. After laying out their plan, She-Crab issues a threat. If they refuse to talk, she will take her claw to Max's hair. Despite his visible alarm, Phoebe holds firm and tells them they have no idea what or where the power plant is. The villains are unconvinced. They haul both siblings off to Dark Mayhem's old lair and throw them inside a fortified prison cabin. They press for answers again, but Phoebe won't budge. As punishment, the villains leave them locked inside and switch on a punishment system. First, it dumps Max's dirty socks all over the cabin, making the air very nearly unbreathable. Then it ramps up by activating an electrocution grid that shocks both of them repeatedly. But as far as Max is concerned, the absolute worst is still to come. The system begins playing an endless loop of Phoebe's motivational speeches recorded during her childhood. For Max, that is the real suffering. While they endure their ordeal, their siblings arrive home from school with no idea what is happening. Hank and Barb immediately notice Max and Phoebe are gone and start asking questions. Before they can head out to search, the house security system trips an alarm, villains are on their way. A laser slices through the door lock and the V-Team walks straight in. Hank lunges at them using his strength, but Dark Mayhem Jr. hits him with a bolt of lightning that brings him to his knees. The villains then ask about the power plant, but just like Max and Phoebe, Hank and Barb tell them they know nothing. The villains project a hologram showing Max and Phoebe being put through their ordeal inside the cabin. The sight of his children suffering breaks Hank. He agrees to reveal everything, but only once they promise to let Max and Phoebe go. Hank presses a concealed button inside a penguin-shaped flower pot, and the power plant is revealed. It holds strange seeds, some red, some blue. Dark Mayhem Jr. is pleased, but She-Crab remains doubtful it is genuine. To test it, she tosses one of the red seeds into the mouth of a nearby squirrel, the same squirrel that had just been quietly chatting with Dr. Colosso. The moment it swallows the seed, the squirrel transforms into a terrifying creature and starts breathing fire. The power plant is real. The villains take it and immediately break their word, leaving without releasing Max and Phoebe. Hank erupts and flies after them, only to smash headfirst into an enormous invisible dome that now encases the entire city. The V-Team has sealed Metroburg inside a force barrier. The situation has now gone from bad to catastrophic. Max and Phoebe are still trapped, and the whole city is under the villains' control. Inside the cabin, the punishment system enters its final phase. The room begins flooding with liquid mercury. Time is nearly gone. The only hope they have left is their twin power, the ability to combine their energy by holding hands and focusing together. They try it, but even their combined force cannot shatter the glass walls. The mercury keeps rising. In that moment, both of them believe it might truly be over. Max lets go of his pride and apologizes to Phoebe. He admits that he always pushed to stand out and act cool because deep down he believed she was the better hero between them. Phoebe opens up in return. She confesses that she had always positioned herself as the responsible one in the family, partly because when Max used to lean toward being a villain, she felt that made her more special. But when Max chose to become a hero, she felt that identity slipping away. Both of them arrive at the same realization at the same time. They had spent so long trying to outshine each other that they had forgotten the most important truth. They are most powerful when they act as one. The moment brings them closer than they have been in a long time, but they still need a way out. Phoebe scans the room and spots a bag sitting on a table. It contains random villain-themed party favors from Dark Mayhem Jr.'s birthday celebration. Max uses his telekinesis to drag the bag toward them and starts going through it. He pulls out something useful, a refrigerator magnet stuck to a piece of explosive sushi. He carefully maneuvers it toward the cabin wall, and the resulting explosion blows the structure open with seconds to spare. Just before the mercury reaches them, Max and Phoebe are free. But the threat is not over. The moment they get out, the Lair's self-destruct system kicks in. Everything inside will detonate in 20 minutes. Back at home, the rest of the family is scrambling to figure out where Max and Phoebe are. Then Chloe spots something on the ground. Another power plant, this one containing the blue seeds. Billy puts it together quickly. If the red seeds create villains, then the blue seeds must do the opposite. They must give people superhero abilities. Barb seizes on the idea immediately. She suggests reaching out to their friends in town, giving them the blue seeds, and using their new powers to break the dome and rescue Max and Phoebe. Everyone is in. They gather at Hiddenville Park with a crowd of familiar faces, including Principal Bradford and Mrs. Wong. Chloe steps forward and reminds them of every time the Thundermans put themselves on the line to protect them. That lands. They stay. Kid Quick races through the group at full speed, slipping a blue seed into each person's mouth. For a few seconds, nothing happens. Then the powers hit all at once. Principal Bradford swells into a massive, hulking blue figure with incredible strength. Gideon's hand becomes an enormous iron fist packed with raw power. Cherry discovers she can fire brilliant bursts of light from her fingertips, and Mrs. Wong can now conjure powerful, destructive tornadoes at will. With their brand new abilities in hand, the group lines up in front of the dome and throws everything they have at it together. After a tremendous effort, a crack finally splits through the barrier. Chloe seizes the moment and teleports the entire group straight into Metroburg. Inside the villain's lab, Max and Phoebe locate the control panel for the self-destruct system. But there is a problem. They do not know the password, and the timer is nearly at 0. 20 seconds left. At that exact moment, the rest of the family arrives. Barb tells Chloe to teleport everyone to safety, but Chloe needs a moment before her power resets. Hank does not wait. He drives his fist straight through the control panel, and the explosion is stopped cold, with barely a breath to spare. Everyone is safe. Hank turns to Max and Phoebe and asks why they did not ask for help from the start. The twins feel the weight of that question. They apologize, and they mean it. They understand now that they should have leaned on their family instead of trying to carry everything alone. With the whole team reunited and stronger than before, they set their sights on stopping the V-Team once and for all. Barb reasons that the villains will head to the highest point in the city to release the red seeds across the widest possible area. Billy immediately knows the place, Mount Metroburg. The team moves without delay. At the mountain's peak, the V-Team and their villain parents are putting the final pieces of their plan into motion. They have assembled a massive drone loaded with red seeds, ready to scatter them across the entire city. When those seeds drop, every person in Metroburg will be transformed into a villain, and the world will belong to them. Just as Dark Mayhem Jr. reaches to activate the drone, Barb strikes first. A lightning bolt slams into his hand. The final battle explodes into motion. Max charges in and swings at Dark Mayhem, but his punch is caught by a force field and fireballs come hurtling back at him. Phoebe launches herself at Dark Mayhem Jr. directly. He goes for her with his laser eye, but she dodges it and answers with a relentless combination of punches and kicks. Thunderman squares off against his longtime enemy King Crab, who catches him hard across the body with one of his enormous claws. On the other side of the fight, She-Crab snares Electress by twisting her tiara into a pair of handcuffs. Kid Quick uses his speed to take on Strong Door and his son simultaneously, but even his quickness is tested against their combined brute force. The battle grows fiercer with every second. Dark Mayhem Jr. tries to get inside Phoebe's head, telling her that her family is going to lose. Phoebe does not waver for a single moment. She freezes the ground beneath him, sending him sliding, then lands a powerful kick that sends him tumbling off the mountain's edge. Then, one by one, the Thundermans start turning the tide. Laser Girl acts fast and uses her beam to snap Electress's handcuffs apart. The moment she is free, Electress throws herself back into the fight and floors She-Crab with one clean punch. Thunderman regains control of his fight, snaring King Crab's arm with his cape, yanking him in close and finishing him with a single powerful blow to the face. Kid Quick and Laser Girl then turn together to face Strong Door and his son. Both villains charge at the same time, but Kid Quick thinks faster. He pulls Laser Girl out of harm's way in an instant, and the two charging villains collide directly with each other, both crashing to the ground, finished. Now only Dark Mayhem Jr. remains. He hurls a massive boulder at Max, but Phoebe is already there, stopping it before it lands. This time, Max and Phoebe go in as one. They take each other's hands, channel their energy into a single focus, and attack as a unit. Hit after hit, they overwhelm him completely, And when the moment comes, both twins unleash their ice breath together, encasing him in frost. The battle appears to be won. Then, in one final act of desperation, Dark Mayhem Jr. jabs a button. The drone powers on and climbs into the sky, carrying its payload of red seeds straight toward the city. The crisis is not over yet. Even Kid Quick's speed and Thunderman's flying cannot close the gap in time. That is when Thunderbaby steps forward. She says she will teleport onto the drone and stop it herself. Her parents refuse outright. The risk is too great. But she holds her ground. She wants to prove she belongs in this fight too. With no better option presenting itself, they finally let her go. Max and Phoebe go with her to keep her safe. All three of them teleport directly onto the drone. Phoebe quickly pulls the capsule of red seeds free while Max shuts the drone's systems down. But then the drone begins breaking apart, filling with smoke. Phoebe loses her footing and nearly falls. She calls out to Max and Chloe to leave her and get out, but Thunderbaby is not going anywhere. She reaches out, wraps her arms around Phoebe, and holds on tight. From the ground far below, their parents watch the drone explode, and for one terrible moment, they fear the worst. But in the very last fraction of a second, Thunderbaby teleports all three of them safely back down. With that single act of bravery, Chloe proves to everyone, most importantly to herself, that she is a true hero. Her parents immediately apologize for every moment they held her back and kept her sheltered. Every villain is arrested. The Thundermans return home and settle in around the table to celebrate with Hank's famous chili. But the celebration is interrupted when the mayor knocks on the door. She comes with an apology and an offer. She wants the Thundermans reinstated as the city's official heroes. The V-Team has been exposed as frauds, and Metroburg needs its real protectors back. Max and Phoebe accept, but they have one condition. They want to keep living in Hiddenville. The mayor agrees without hesitation, and with that, the Thundermans are heroes once again. As the family celebrates, their friends from town, who still have their new powers, arrive at the door asking to join the T-Force. Max and Phoebe exchange a look, freeze them on the spot, and tell them with a grin that they will all talk about it after dinner. The Thundermans have saved the day once again. But the story is not quite finished. Down in the secret lab, Dr. Colosso receives a message from an unknown source. The message mentions a new proposal, which can only mean one thing. A new danger is already on its way. So what did you think about this movie? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this recap, make sure you hit like and subscribe for more incredible movie stories. See you in the next one.